Hi, I'm Doug Olenek, online editor for SC Magazine, and I'm here with Zoltán Györkő, Chief Executive Officer of the Balabit Group. How are you today?
Well, thank you very much. And you?
Very well. Thank you for being here. Let's start right off with insider threats. Could you give me a quick idea on some of the major insider threats that are taking place these days?
Yes, of course. The most important threat is basically human mistake and errors. Let me tell you an example of a story. One of our customers, a large global telco, had an incident a couple of months ago where a senior core network engineer had to update the core routers, but he also had to run to an event to his kid's school, and he shared his accounts and credentials with a junior colleague who finished the job, and they had 3 hours of blackout.
That's a problem.
That's a problem, and that's a human mistake, and it's not. And it's a mistake what caused by not an external attacker, an insider colleague who had credentials, legitimate access, and it was not a bad thing, just against any policy and against any logic.
Mm-hmm. So can you give us a couple of tips on what corporations can do in order to limit the number of insider threat problems that they have?
Yeah, if you imagine security has different aspects. There are a lot of tools. I regularly talk to CISOs, and large corporations, CISOs typically tell that they have 100 to 200 tools in security, 100 to 200 different vendors they deal with, what is insane. Mm-hmm. It's complex. But for insider, over the regular wall and control and policy-like defenses, the only solution is some kind of authentication. If once they gave credentials to someone, the person is accessing a system, then he's doing whatever he wants or whatever he can inside the system. If it's an insider who just going rogue, or it's an external attacker who is using a stolen credential of someone else because it's about accounts, then that's a risk.
Mm-hmm. Are most insider threats rogue insider threats or just regular employees making a terrible mistake?
According to statistics, and we also made some surveys recently, it's typically mistakes. Mm-hmm. Rogue insiders and external attack is not that regular.
Mm-hmm. And how does one mitigate against the mistakes that are made?
Sure. The only thing you can apply on insiders where you don't have more options to build walls and controls anymore is to apply monitoring. Apply monitoring on their activities, continuous monitoring, and use that information for build a profile of the user, build a profile of their digital behavior, and applying anomaly detection, data science-based algorithms on the top of it, and find anomalies, outlier activities, what does not seem to be similar than any previous activity what the user had in the past compared to his own baseline or compared to his own peers who are working in the same group or in the same job title.
Mm-hmm. Great. Now, maybe for fun or maybe not so much fun, if you think back over the last year, can you think of a particularly interesting insider threat that came across your desk that you saw?
Yeah, what I just mentioned at the beginning of the interview is sharing your credential with someone else, and with these kind of technologies where you build the profile of users, you also can detect if a credential is shared, even on biometric characteristics like typing speed or mouse movement, to show or you recognize that someone else is using the account, not the regular person.
Great. Okay, Zoltán, thank you very much for being here. Again, I'm Doug Olenek with SC Magazine.